Hi guys, in today's video I am going to be decorating a cake to look like Loaf, the beaver from Hoppers. I hope you enjoy this one. Right guys, for this video I have printed myself an image off of the one I want to do. It's not the main character, this one isn't Mabel, it's Loaf I think it's called. And I drew the worst drawing ever of Tom Lizard on there. Mine looks more like Kermit the Frog. Maybe we'll make him, I don't know. Keep an eye out on the video and we'll see if we do or not. So usually I would make this either fully 3D or laying down as a flat cake. I was gonna do a 3D setup cake, but I thought it might take too long. So I just decided a laying down kind of face cake style one would be quicker and probably quicker and easier for you guys to follow. But I'm gonna see if at the end we can stand it up and make it look like it's a 3D sculpted cake, even though it's not gonna be. Will it work? I don't know. You'll have to stay to the end to find out.
So I'm going to use some greaseproof paper or like baking paper to just trace his outline. Now, when I'm tracing his outline, I'm actually going like a couple of mil further in all the way around, and you can kind of just ignore the feet. We just want the basic shape of the body, which we will cut out in cake. The reason I'm going slightly smaller, and it's only by a tiny bit, but slightly smaller, ignore the tail, is so that when we've cut the cake, we'll add ganache over the top, and then a layer of fondant as well, or even modeling chocolate, I've not decided yet. And that will bulk it out. So let's just check, yep, that's smaller. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this on, it's just a little cutting mat that I've got. I'm using vegetable shortening to stick it on with, otherwise it's gonna slide around. Now, I wouldn't usually put this greaseproof paper on the back of my cake. I was gonna use it as a template, but you know what? We're gonna use it on the back of our cake. We're gonna put chocolate ganache on top of here and then our cake. And this is because we want to try and stand it up later. So my cake is cracked. I'm just using a sheet cake that I pre-bought. And when I picked it up, I bent the whole cake by accident and it's cracked. But it's fine. I think we can get away with using this side. So I'm going to try and cut out the rough shape. So the same shape as what I cut that piece of greaseproof paper out as. Okay, I think we managed to miss the broken bit. So now that's cut out ready. I've cut out 2 of those pieces of cake, by the way, guys. I'm using some chocolate ganache and we're just going to spread it over this greaseproof paper. I'll try and get it to roughly the edges. I don't want it super thick, but at the same time, I don't want it super thin. It has to help hold the cake in at the back. If we're never going to stand the cake up, it doesn't matter. You don't have to put this on the back. You could just put this straight onto a cake board. Now I'm going to fill it with buttercream and I think we will use some little Smarties because I have them left over from a gingerbread kit that I had at Christmas. So we're going to mix these in with the buttercream. I usually regret this afterwards because I always find it more difficult to cut a cake once I've put things in the buttercream that are hard like Smarties. Although technically these are not the Smarties brand. But we're going to spread this in the middle, level it out as much as you can, and then we'll add our second layer of cake, which you can see I have managed to crack that as well. It's quite soft is the cake. It's stuff that I buy pre-made from Sweet Success. It is really nice cake. It just is quite soft. And what we're going to do is we're going to start cutting this to shape. So I've put rough marks in where I want the head and the legs to go, and then we're cutting out at a bit of an angle, sloping the cake so it starts to take a slightly more 3D shape. Now, I picked this particular character because I thought it looked nice and easy, so it would be one that wouldn't take a long time to make. So if you wanted to have a go, it would be fairly quick and easy to do. So just have a look at an image of him so you can see which parts of him kind of slope backwards. So like the nose area and mouth, they're going to stick out more than like the top of his head would, which looks like it's sloping backwards. I'm going to trim around that chin, take out a little bit more just above the nose. And we're going to cover the whole thing in chocolate ganache. I've heated my ganache so it's fairly runny. It's maybe just a little bit too runny, but if I have it really thick for this first layer, it can kind of bring off bits of my cake with the cake being quite soft. So by keeping it thin, it should make it a little bit easier for us to spread it on. It is awkward getting ganache around like little curved shapes that are quite awkward. So you really want to have something like a flexible smoother. So these ones are ones I got from Dinky Doodle Cakes. You get like all different shaped ones in the pack, so they're quite handy. Of course, you can just make your own out of a piece of acetate. But I've got these ones, so they're useful. I'm going to use it. Try and bend it while you're scraping the ganache, and that's going to help us go over those curves. Now, I have added a second layer here, so you might be thinking, oh, it just looks slightly different to what it did a second ago. I've gone over with a second layer and I'm just going to keep going over it until I get it as smooth as I can. I'll just make sure it's not stuck to that board. My paper's still on the back there, that's fine, but I do want to fill in any little gaps there that we've got. I'm just going to put it on a clean board. So it's still got the greaseproof paper on at the back at this stage. You can take it off if you want.
So I'm going to interrupt this video to put an advert in here for myself. Because I can sponsor myself, why not? Just to let you guys know about the subscription service I have, which is a monthly subscription to extra tutorials that are completely different to the ones that you will find here on my YouTube channel. And the most recent one in there is these little cats that I have done. So we look at making a cat in 3 different ways. I'll put a picture up of it so it's a little bit clearer for you. A massive thank you to everyone that has already joined my subscription service. I hope everyone is enjoying it. Now back to the video.
Now I'm going to cover it in fondant, but I think I'm going to mix the fondant. So I've got the pasta top one, but you can use like all different ones, like the sugar pasty one that's an ivory colour. Well, they do it in all different colours to be fair, Square's Kitchen one. I'm just showing you there's loads of different ones, tons and tons, but I'm going to be using this one. I do have a discount code actually for any Saracino products on their website. I'll put this below. It just gets you a little bit of money off if you do want to buy any of their products. So yeah, I'm actually going to mix it half with some modelling chocolate. I've got the Renshaw's modelling chocolate here, but you can use whichever brand. In fact, I think this one in the red is Renshaw's. This one, not in the red, is actually a Saracino one. Go for whichever one you want. I'm going to use about half and half. You're probably not going to need as much as what I've got here. And in fact, this is like a light brown colour. I've just got that in front. I'm just going to mix that in. I'm going to mix it all together. And I want this to be not too dark in colour. So when I'm kneading this, let's make sure it's not marbled as well. Looking at the picture of Loaf, I want to get this no darker than the lightest colour that's on him. Okay, kneaded together. It's still pretty light. In fact, it's pretty much a cream colour. I'm just going to have a bit of a practice at putting hairlines in before I actually put it on the cake because my fondant will firm up, or my fondant and modelling chocolate mix will firm up pretty quickly. So we've got plastic Dresdens, metal Dresdens, Kemper tools. So my plastic one, can you see, goes through nice and easy. Metal one is going to give me a very similar effect. It's a little bit sharper, but sometimes it can cling to chocolate a little bit more, I find. I've got a stitching wheel we can use the side of, and then there's the Kemper tool. And can you see the effect just by kind of brushing it down, or we can kind of stab it in for a more fluffy look, or you can use something like a craft knife. You don't have to practice and play around like I am doing, but it just helps me sometimes before putting it on the real cake because the fondant will dry and set pretty quick. So if I've already worked out the best way to do it when I get it on there, it's going to help. Also, we don't want it too thick on there because it's going to be a lot of fondant. Too thin, we're not going to be able to get these lines in. So it's going to be getting a nice happy medium. And I'll be honest, I left it thicker than I should have done. I thought it was going to stretch a lot when I put it on, which it did. It did still stretch a lot when I put it on. But I misjudged just how thick this fondant was when I put it on. And it wasn't until later when I actually cut into the cake that I realised that it was on pretty thick, which is fine if you like the taste of fondant and modelling chocolate mixed together, which I actually don't mind. I think the fondant tastes nicer having modelling chocolate mixed in with it, but I know not everybody likes fondant. Okay, so I'm just draped it over and I'm just pressing it down in place. You can see there's a couple of little kind of holes where I stabbed out air bubbles, but that's fine because of the fur effect, they will disappear. So I'm just going to press in with the wide end of my Dresden tool, anywhere that I want to kind of enhance the shape a little bit more. So I'm trying to kind of put a little divot in at the end of the arm, which is where the hand will sit later. So we'll make the hand in a separate piece. I'm using my template to work out where the nose and mouth is going to go. I could guess, but I'm likely to get it wrong. Even with a template, I sometimes get it wrong. Okay, so we're going to mark it in and we're going to push it in. Anywhere that I just want to be pushed back a little bit, I'm going to try and press in first. I'm kind of putting hairlines on. I don't envision these being the final hairlines. And I'm actually using the wide end of the Dresden tool to kind of just press in. I more wanted a bit of texture, but not the full fur. But I actually don't mind it like that. Even though that's not one of the ways I practiced it, I don't mind it. Okay, let's press in the mouth. I'm just going to push that in a little bit deeper into the mouth, and we'll paint that up a different colour later. I'm just going to mark on roughly where I think the nose is going to go, and also a little line for where each of those eyes are. He's got closed eyes. I chose closed eyes because I thought it was going to make things a bit quicker for me. It's also quite cute on this one. I'm going to trim off all the extra paste from around the edge that we don't need now. Keep hold of it, put it in a bag because you might want to cover the back of the cake if you stand your cake up later. So I'm going to use the Kemper tool now and we're going to kind of stab it in around the mouth and nose area, because if I look at a picture of him, his hair looks much shorter. It almost looks like a little fabric-y felt kind of style. You know, like people do felting, or is it felting? Is that what you call it? Where people push a needle with wool and it kind of looks all felty. Kind of looks like that effect on his face. So we'll use the Kemper tool for that. And a little bit on his arms, and then we'll go for longer hairs sort of on his chest. So I'm swapping to the thinner end of my Dresden tool to put in those lines. We're also going to put them on the arms and the legs. Then next, let's choose some colours. Again, have a look at the image. If you can't get the exact colours, don't worry. I really want kind of a range of browns or creams. I've picked up some yellow as well. We're going to mix it with Rejuvenator Spirit though. First of all, what we're going to do is we're going to kind of create a pale-ish kind of creamy colour wash that we're going to mix with the dipping solution. So the dipping solution is like a food grade alcohol. It just helps mix the powder colours, which are edible, into a smoother paint, and also it dries quick, so it's not left wet for ages. If I do this with water instead of the clear alcohol, then it makes my cake very sticky and it takes a long time to dry. So you can see we've mixed in the colour, and I'm just giving it a light coating of it. It should kind of drip in between those hairlines, and because it's quite watery down, it's quite transparent is the colour, which is what I want at the moment. Any areas that I want to be really light in colour, I'm not going to add it to. So like, can you see just the top of like the cheeks and the nose I've left without it on? I'm going to go for a little bit of squirrel brown in there, see what that looks like. So can you see as I'm adding more powder into that liquid solution I've got there, that little edible paint, it is getting a little bit darker in colour. So I'm having a look now at the picture at any areas that look like they're a little bit darker. So really like his face, especially around his nose and mouth, want to stay light, so does the tummy. And then the rest of it we can darken a little bit. I'm going to use a really nice dark brown for just inside the mouth. Just have to be careful I don't get it beyond the edge of the mouth. I'm going to go over that with a second coat shortly, I think. So again, I'm still keeping it pretty watered down at the moment because I don't want the colour too strong anywhere, even though I've added a bit of the darker brown. We're just building up that colour in layers. Maybe darken just in the eye sockets a little bit. Or the eyelids, sorry, it's not really his eye sockets, eyelids. Okay, so I've got a slightly bigger brush and I'm using the powder colour now dry. So no longer as a paint, but just dry. Dusting it on. The clear alcohol or Rejuvenator Spirit has now evaporated, so it's quite dry where I'm brushing this on. So anywhere that we think should be kind of in the shadow or just a darker brown on the beaver in general. Now, the movie wasn't out when I actually made this video, but I am looking forward to going and seeing it because I think the characters look so cute. And I know people laugh at me that I like to go watch these kids' movies, but I really do like the animation that's in them. It appeals to me. And it makes me want to create these cakes for you guys to see. Okay, so I've got the dry brown powder that we're just putting on for the eyebrows. I'll be honest, I could have probably gone a little bit neater with these brows, but they're on there now. Okay, so we're going to take a little bit of brown fondant, or you can use modelling chocolate. In fact, modelling chocolate is going to taste nice, and it's just about the perfect colour for this if you're using the dark modelling chocolate. I'm going to use it for the little eyelashes as well, or the line that goes at the bottom of each eye. I've just rolled it really thin and we're just sticking it on kind of at the bottom of that little eye area. And we want two little circles that I've kind of squished and then almost folded in half to create his ears. We're just going to push them on each side of the head, remembering that his head is slanted, so I'm just trying to line them up roughly in line with his eyes. Then the teeth. Now, I was going to use white, but actually I've just used some of the leftover fondant and modelling chocolate mix from like his body because I figured, even though it's cream colour, I think it's light enough that we can use it for the teeth. So we're going to squeeze it to shape, put a line up the middle, and then we're just going to push that into place there. I'm just going to darken around the edge a little bit. So I've got some black powder colour that's really watered down a lot with Rejuvenator Spirit just to go around the edges. You can use an edible pen if you prefer rather than paint, but obviously it's going to give you a much stronger line. So can you see I'm wanting to darken the underside of the nose? So I've coloured it in or drawn a couple of lines with the pen. Also the eyelashes as well. I just want to darken them. I should have really just made them in black. The black line under the nose, I have just smudged using a slightly damp brush. And then we're just going to add a little bit of white up near the top. Now next we're going to make him some little hands. So we're just going to take a small little ball. We'll see what it looks like size-wise against the bottom of the hand or arm, against the bottom of the arm. I'm just going to push it in place and then press in some little fingers. So nice and easy, keeping it a really nice simple shape. I'm going to do the same for the other hand, only I'm going to push the fingers in before I stick it on, just to see if it's easier that way. And then let's push it on. It made no difference in ease. You do it either way. You put the fingers on before or after. Okay, the feet. Let's create a big kind of sausage shape, squish it down slightly, still pretty chunky. And then we're going to press in our toe lines. The toes can go in the bigger end, so the heel wants to be a little bit narrower than the top bit where the toes are going. We'll just press just underneath the toes a little bit so we get a bit more shape in there. I'm going to stick it on just using some water, but if you find water doesn't work well enough, you could use something like piping gel or even a tiny bit of chocolate ganache to hold this in place. And we're going to do the same for the other foot. A little bit trickier on this one because it wants to slide off the corner of this leg with it being a bit more curved on that side. We want a nice big chunky piece for the tail. Now, because I'm going to stand him up, I could actually add this afterwards once I've stood him up, but it might not work stood up, so, you know, we might keep him laying down. So I'm going to make it as if he's laying down, or as if he's kind of facing up. The character's not lying down, my cake is laying down is what I mean to say to you guys. So we'll trim it off, we'll push it around the shape. Now, he's kind of got, I think, hexagon shapes, was it, on his tail? I've already forgotten, and I only just looked. I don't have a cutter that shape, so I've just got this one that's kind of triangles, so it's not the right shape, but I figured, you know what, it still gives us a nice bit of texture, and it stops it being too plain. I think it will look okay with this. Again, just a bit of water, or use piping gel if you find that's going to stick better, and we're going to press it nice and tight against the body. I want it to curve upwards a little bit, so I'm just using an extra little bit of paste just to put under there, just until it's dried. I'll remove it later. And then we're going to just add a bit of shading onto our feet and hands and his tail. Now I'm opting to use the black pen, which can you see I'm then sort of spreading the colour from it out with a damp brush. It will go a little bit shiny at first. It should mattify, is that a word? It shouldn't be as shiny when it dries, but sometimes it still dries shiny. So if you prefer, you could just use black powder instead of the pen. Go with whichever you are most comfortable using. And we're going to do the same on the tail, except for I've just used black powder on the tail and a little bit of white powder at the top of the tail so that it looks like the light is hitting it there. And we'll take a little bit of that cream colour, cream or white, either will do, to just put it on the toes and heel. Now, whiskers, I have gone for just using the black modelling paste. So modelling paste rather than fondant, just because I find it firms up a little bit easier and is easier to use for tiny shapes. Rolling it thin enough was quite difficult. It felt like it was really thin when I was rolling it out. And then when I put them against his face, I felt like they looked a little bit too chunky. Let's see if it stands up. It's a bit messy underneath, but can we stand him up? Ta-da! And for the next video, guys, I'm going to show you how to make Tom the Lizard to go with him as well. Okay, so it's stood up. Obviously, you can see it's not covered at the back, and we've still got the greaseproof paper on, so let's just check we can pull that off. Yeah, that comes away nicely. And then, of course, if you wanted to keep yours stood up, it does feel pretty firm with the ganache. You could then put a layer of icing that matches the front onto the back. I'm just gonna cut straight into him. Okay, I always manage to make cutting a cake look so difficult, but look how thick I managed to put that fondant on. That was not on purpose. I should have gone much thinner. So I hope you enjoyed this one, guys. Let me know if there's any other character cakes you want to see me make, or any more characters from the Hoppers film, which is one that I'm very much looking forward to. And also a big thank you to everybody that has joined my subscription service as well. And I'll see you all again for the next one soon, hopefully. Thanks for watching this one, guys. Quick advert I'm going to stick in. Don't forget that you can purchase my book, a signed copy of my book, over on my website for anyone that is interested. And this is just a book on making figurines. So the little cake toppers to go on top of your cakes.